attempts a spell Babbity cannot perform.
The Charlatan scoffed. Your magic is more than equal to that fool's imagination, he assured her, and he retired to the castle well pleased with his own cleverness. The following morning, all the lords and ladies of the kingdom assembled in the palace grounds. The king climbed on a stage in front of them, with the Charlatan by his side. I shall firstly make this lady's hat disappear, cried the king, pointing his twig at a noble woman. From inside a bush nearby, Babbity pointed her wand at the hat and caused it to vanish. Great was the astonishment and admiration of the crowd, and loud their applause for the jubilant king. Next I shall make that horse fly, cried the king, pointing his twig at his own steed. From inside the bush, Babbity pointed her wand at the house, and it rose high into the air. The crowd was still more thrilled and amazed, and they roared their appreciation of their magical king. And now, said the king, looking all around for an idea, and the captain of his brigade of witch hunters ran forward. Your Majesty, said the captain, this very morning, Sabre died of eating a poisonous toadstool. Bring him back to life, Your Majesty, with your wand. And the captain heaved onto the stage the lifeless body of the largest of the witch-hunting hounds. The foolish king brandished his twig and pointed it at the dead dog. But inside the bush, Babbity smiled and did not trouble to lift her wand, for no magic can raise the dead. When the dog did not stir, the crowd began first to whisper and then to laugh. They suspected that the king's first 2 feats had been mere tricks after all. Why doesn't it work? The king screamed at the Charlatan, who bethought himself of the only ruse left to him. Oh, there, Your Majesty, there, he shouted, pointing at the bush where Babbity sat concealed. I see her plain. A wicked witch is blocking your magic with her own evil spells. Seize her! Somebody seize her! Babbity fled from the bush, and the brigade of witch hunters set off in pursuit, unleashing their hounds, who bayed for Babbity's blood. But as she reached a low hedge, the little witch vanished from sight, and when the king, the Charlatan, and all the courtiers gained the other side, they found the pack of witch-hunting hounds barking and scrabbling around a bent and aged tree. She has turned herself into a tree, screamed the Charlatan, and dreading lest Babbity turn back into a woman and denounce him, he added, Cut her down, Your Majesty. That is the way to treat evil witches. An axe was brought at once, and the old tree was felled to loud cheers from the courtiers and the Charlatan. However, as they were making ready to return to the palace, the sound of low crackling stopped them in their tracks. Fools! Cried Rabbity's voice from the stump they had left behind. No witch or wizard can be killed by being cut in half. Take the axe if you do not believe me, and cut the grand sorcerer ring too. The captain of the brigade of witch hunters was eager to take the experiment, but as he raised his axe, the Charlatan fell to his knees, screaming for mercy and confessing all his wickedness. As he was dragged away to the dungeons, the tree stump cackled more loudly than
witch in half. You have unleashed a dreadful curse upon your kingdom.
It told the petrified king.
Henceforth, every stroke of harm that you inflict upon my fellow witches and wizards will feel like an axe stroke in your own side until you will wish you could die of it.
At that the king fell to his knees too, and told the Stump that he would issue a proclamation at once, protecting all the witches and wizards of the kingdom and allowing them to practice their magic in peace.
Very good,
Said the Stump.
but you have not yet made amends to Babbity.
Anything at all, cried the foolish king, wringing his hands before the Stump.
You will erect a statue of Babbity upon me in memory of your poor washerwoman and to remind you forever of your own foolishness,
Said the Stump. The king agreed to it at once and promised to engage the form of sculpting land and to have the statue made of pure gold. Then the shamed king and all the noblemen and women returned to the palace, leaving a tree stump cackling behind them. When the grounds were deserted once more, there wriggled from a hole between the roots of the tree stump a stout and whiskery old rabbit with a warmed clap between her teeth. Babbity hopped out of the grounds and far away, and ever after a golden statue of the washerwoman stood upon the tree stump, and no witch or wizard was ever persecuted in the kingdom again. The end. Before you pass along, you must tell me the password. If you don't know it, just guess. What is it?
Slytherin.